Imagine waking up every morning staring at flashing charts, red and green candles jumping like a heartbeat, your phone buzzing with alerts, news headlines screaming panic or euphoria. You place a trade, watch it for minutes, sometimes seconds, feeling your pulse race as price ticks up or down. Now imagine doing that for one single day. Stressful, exciting, exhausting. Most traders think this is what trading is. But now, shift your mind. Imagine trading not for one day, not for 1 month, but for 10 full years. What really happens when you trade for a decade instead of a single day? The answer changes everything you think you know about money, patience, risk, and success. On day 1, trading feels like a game. You believe skill matters more than time. You think if you're smart enough, fast enough, and disciplined enough, you can beat the market today. One good trade feels like proof you've cracked the code. One bad trade feels like bad luck. Your focus is narrow. You care about entries, exits, indicators, news, and quick wins. You measure success in dollars made today, not in habits built for tomorrow. This mindset is powerful but dangerous, because it tricks you into thinking short-term results define long-term ability. After a few weeks of day trading, reality starts to creep in. You notice that some days you win, some days you lose, and many days you barely move. You realize fees, spreads, commissions, and slippage quietly eat into your profits. You learn that emotions play a bigger role than charts. Fear makes you exit early. Greed makes you hold too long. Overtrading becomes a silent killer. You trade not because there is opportunity, but because you feel the need to act. At this stage, one day still feels important, but cracks are forming in your confidence. Now fast forward 1 full year. If you've been trading actively for 12 months, you've seen bull markets, bear days, fake breakouts, surprise news, and sudden crashes. You've felt the pain of drawdowns and the relief of recoveries. You begin to notice something critical. Most of your biggest mistakes weren't technical, they were psychological. You broke rules. You chased losses. You sized positions too big. 1 year teaches you that survival matters more than winning. But still, your mind is stuck in short-term thinking. You judge yourself by monthly or even weekly performance. You still believe one great trade can change everything. Now let's stretch the timeline further. Imagine you keep trading, learning, adjusting, and surviving for 5 years. This is where most people quit. Not because they lose everything in one day, but because the grind slowly wears them down. 5 years in, you realize the market owes you nothing. You stop trying to predict every move. You start respecting probability. You understand that losses are not failures, they are business expenses. You begin focusing on consistency instead of excitement. Your strategy becomes simpler. Your risk per trade becomes smaller. You stop trying to be right all the time and start trying to stay in the game. At 5 years, something interesting happens. Time starts working for you instead of against you. Compounding begins to show its quiet power. Even modest returns, when repeated and protected, start adding up. You realize that avoiding big losses is more important than chasing big wins. You notice that patience is no longer boring, it's profitable. You start thinking in terms of years, not days. One bad day no longer destroys your confidence. One good day no longer inflates your ego. Balance begins to form. Now let's talk about 10 years. Trading for a full decade changes you at a deep level. You no longer see markets as enemies to conquer, but systems to work within. You understand cycles. You've seen hype come and go. You've watched sure things fail and boring ideas succeed. You've learned that simplicity often beats complexity. At 10 years, you realize that the biggest edge in trading is not speed, secret indicators, or insider knowledge. It's discipline, time, and risk management. When you trade for 10 years, your relationship with money changes. Money stops being emotional. A loss doesn't feel like an attack on your intelligence. A win doesn't feel like proof of superiority. You detach your self-worth from your P&L. This emotional neutrality is rare, and it's powerful. It allows you to make clearer decisions. It allows you to stick to your plan even when the market is loud and chaotic. 10 years also teaches you the true meaning of compounding. Small, consistent gains protected over time can outperform wild swings and lucky wins. You finally understand why legends like Warren Buffett emphasize patience over prediction. You see that wealth is not built in moments of excitement, but in long periods of consistency. You stop asking, how much can I make today? And start asking, how can I still be profitable 10 years from now? Another major shift after 10 years is your view of risk. Early on, risk feels like an obstacle to profits. Later, you realize risk is the only thing you truly control. You size positions carefully. You accept that missing opportunities is better than forcing bad ones. You understand that staying liquid and flexible is a strength, not a weakness. Risk management stops being a rule and becomes a mindset. Time also reveals the power of doing less. In the beginning, you trade constantly. After 10 years, you wait. You understand that not trading is often the best trade. You focus on high-quality setups. You allow trades to develop. You respect the market's pace instead of imposing your own. This patience is invisible to outsiders, but it's the foundation of long-term success. There is also a lifestyle difference between one-day trading and 10-year trading. One-day trading often consumes your attention. You're glued to screens. Your mood follows the market. 10-year traders build systems that free their time. They create routines. They review, plan, and execute with intention. Trading becomes part of life, not the center of it. This balance reduces burnout and increases clarity. One of the most surprising things about trading for 10 years is how boring it becomes, and why that's a good thing. Boring means predictable. Boring means controlled. Boring means sustainable. The drama fades, but the results improve. You stop seeking adrenaline and start seeking reliability. You realize that excitement is expensive, and boredom is profitable. So what really happens when you trade for 10 years instead of one day? You gain perspective. You gain discipline. You gain emotional control. You stop chasing the market and start aligning with it. You move from gambling to professionalism. You realize that time is the ultimate edge, and patience is the ultimate skill. If you're watching this and you're early in your journey, understand this. You don't need to win today to succeed long term. You need to survive, learn, and stay consistent. One day doesn't define you. 1 year doesn't define you. 10 years will. This is Stock Predictor, reminding you that the real secret in trading isn't what you do today, it's what you're still doing 10 years from now.